We're joined by Abner Mosase, spokesperson of Justice for Lungisa. Very good evening to you, and thank you so much for speaking to us, Mr. Mosase. The deprivation of his freedom was a principle that was highlighted on this bail application, and it was said that should he not be granted it, it would be precisely that. But he has chosen now to go against what his supporters have been looking for and stayed in jail. Why?
Well, thank you very much, Piso, for this opportunity. I think we must say from the beginning that from this exercise, we have noticed that there's nothing powerful than a human voice, even if it's a whisper. The people who rallied around Andile Lungisa made sure that today a little bit the path to his justice is saved. Andile Lungisa decides to stay in prison because he has already embarked on the process of rehabilitation and retributive systems that are available within our systems of corrections. He's undergoing things like anger management and all that. So, and we want to commend Comrade Andile Lungisa for taking that step. That shows the highest sense of remorse and revolutionary morality on his side. And we are quite pleased that he has decided to take this route. But however, he is not ceasing the process of the Constitutional Court. It will continue, but he wants to just come out of the situation as a better person.
And that's quite interesting that you should say that, because I'm wondering where the two then converge, or do they collide? You're saying that he has embarked on anger management classes, he is remorseful about the way that he's acted, but yet he has completely rejected the sentence. As was said earlier on, he believes that he was treated unlike any other ordinary person, that his rights were infringed upon. So why pursue the court decision?
No, that remains.
I understand.
As well. We still believe, yes, that remains. We still believe that justice was not served for Mr. Lungisa. Everybody who saw the video on YouTube could just see that it was just a general brawl that happened in council, like it happens anywhere else in the legislatures of our country, in parliament, in councils. But no one has had to take the fall for the general anarchy that ensues in those institutions. But Mr. Lungisa alone has to go to prison just because of trying to defend himself against the people who surrounded him and were attacking him. So, but however, Mr. Lungisa is making a statement here that he's a very good person. When he's confronted with an opportunity to become even more better than he is, he seizes the opportunity.
And I'm glad you raised it, because we want to understand this. I mean, you're saying it's a general brawl. He clearly could not have seen it that way if he's decided to embark on anger management. Anger management means that there is some concession on one's part, as you said, remorse of their own responsibility. And the issue here, I'm not arguing about the correctness of the decision that he receive a jail sentence, but I want to establish so that he does say he feels he takes responsibility for that. It's just that he feels that jail time is too harsh. Yes,
as he has already said from the beginning, that even after the process has happened in council, when Mr. Rayno was assaulted with a jack, he already reached out to him, and they exchanged good ways with each other. They become friends, they visit each other's families already. So it's actually quite surprising that people who have reconciled in that manner, that even Mr. Rayno himself has had to go to court and testify that indeed they are in good terms with Mr. Lungisa, but you still find Mr. Lungisa having to go through the dungeons of prison. That can't be justice. I'm sure you agree with me.
And he has then put the blame on the judges, saying that they've been outside influence. Is there any evidence that he has to that fact? Is that what he intends to present to the Constitutional Court, and therefore is confident that he will win his appeal?
Yes, Mr. Lungisa is standing by what he said, and he feels that the issues that he raised can be tested against practically available evidence on site to attest to some of the things he said prior to him handing himself over to the correctional facility. We leave the issue now between Mr. Lungisa and the Supreme Court of Appeal as the people who wrote to Mr. Lungisa.
Now, ANC Youth League members, former including, have come out in support. We've seen Andile Lungisa and several of those visuals that we have been playing throughout this conversation. He has said, we don't want to inherit the organization from opposition benches nor wake up with the party being hijacked. And how do you bring these two together? Is this what is seen to symbolize the incarceration of Andile Lungisa, that it is either forcing out those from the organization who don't agree with a certain way of doing things, or that the organization is being hijacked through the incarceration of Andile Lungisa?
Well, members of the organizations from all quarters have got the right to express themselves in terms of how they interpret the incarceration and the persecution of Andile Lungisa from different ends. And I'm sure this is an open political playing field at this point, and we welcome any opinion on that, but we communicate here what Mr. Lungisa tells us.
All right, thank you so much for speaking to us. That there is spokesperson for Andile Lungisa, in fact, the Justice for Lungisa organization, Abner Mosase.